let's change the spotlight from me because the pain's cutting deep. What about you? I'm curious. If you had your time again, what would you do differently?
I want to say something very controversial. Let's keep slaying these sacred cows.
All right, go.
All right, when I started in business, I think the biggest mistake I made and what I would do differently is starting out in business. And you say, what do you mean? So I was a plumber with trade skills, like literally quite good with, hammers, wrenches, those types of skills. And then I go into this world of internet marketing where it's like, I don't have any skills. Like apart from knowing how to turn a computer on is like, I didn't know how to run ads. I didn't know how to build a website. I don't know what code is. I didn't know how to do any of these things. And what I would have done in hindsight is go work at an agency for a year to actually learn this stuff, because the gap between my skill set, like of current, into where I was going was just too big. It was way too big. And the consequence of that is that I got in over my head numerous times, lost substantial money on things, and just did really dumb things that could have been avoided. And, the next thing is but you learn from it and all that stuff. I disagree, because if I went and worked for someone for a year, I would have learnt so much that I would have been able to go quicker after that year.
Totally.
Heaps quicker. So it's like, yes, I lost a year in employment. Not that there's anything wrong with being unemployed, but the skills I would have been able to bring into starting my own business, I would have passed the guy I was who just went into business in the next 12 months easily. So easily.
All right, I'm curious because I can riff on this point, but I do have a question for you before I do. What size business would you go in? So to use your ads agency as an example, would you go into like a really large ads agency that you were trying to achieve just to see what that looks like and operates at? Or would you go into something that's a bit smaller where you can go, oh, this is like step 1, maybe step 2 kind of thing? Like, I'm curious now, like how you would approach this.
Yeah, I would go for the size of business you want to build.
Yeah.
Because it's, to the point is like running an agency of 4 people, likely the owner of that business is doing things in the business. So they're probably still writing copy or doing ads or building sites or whatever it is. Where if you get to an agency that's like 20 plus people, the owner of that agency doesn't do anything technically.
Yeah.
Maybe sales or relationships or something like that, but it's a different scope. And then going even bigger, it's like they potentially just do board meetings and strategic meetings. So if you went into an agency that was kind of not where you intended to go, I don't think you would see the dynamics in the same way, where you want to see like, this is how the owner works with the team. This is what the team roles are. This is the skills everyone's required to have. This is who works with who. This is how you share things on Google Drive and Dropbox, right? With just all the things that I didn't necessarily have exposure to in that way. And then my finding is, again, I have a lot of experience in agency world, is just the development of relationships.
Yep.
Where you would then have people you can go to, or potentially people you've met along the way, where that could be a really useful resource for you as you go deeper into this space also. So
I did this.
Wait, you went and worked was it an agency or what was this?
I did. I'll tell you the story. So it's weird. So I studied at university, my major in entrepreneurship. I think it was like business or something like that.
Yeah, you're definitely a major entrepreneur.
Totally. I'm like, well, I got a certificate that says I am now. And then I opened my digital agency straight after for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And you're like, we did our okay. Like we were making revenue and doing all these things. I just could not get over a ceiling. And I said, I wonder what's going to be the greatest way for me to get over this. And so I did the thing. I went and found one of the sort of better and bigger SEO companies in Melbourne, because I also wanted to step more into the SEO space. And I went and applied for a job. And I said, cool, here's my resume. I want to go and learn how to do SEO and essentially go and grow in your business. And during the interview, they're like, are you coming here just to learn everything so you can go start your own business? Because my resume was literally university, ran my own digital agency for 2 years and applying for an SEO job. And I'm like, no, dude. So I worked there and I had 65 people, and it was a great eye-opener of a lot of what not to do, but also a lot of like what to do.
That's still great lessons, right? Still great lessons.
And to this day, there's still a joke that goes around my friends. I gave them, I resigned in January, And my resignation date was the end of June because I was going to Europe for like 3 months. It was like a 6-month resignation because I'm like, I knew exactly what I was there
You're
for.
the best employee ever.
Well, no, because I walked in for like 6 to 8 months, then resigned after that. But no, like I managed one of the largest books there. Like I did very well. I learned a lot. And I would argue that it was a tough year. I learned a lot around what it felt like to be an employee, which I actually thought was probably the most valuable part around.
Well, did it light the fire for your own thing even more?
Well, it was really interesting seeing and talking to sort of the people that I worked with around what they were struggling with, what they didn't like, what they did like, and seeing what motivated them, seeing how they operated as opposed to like how I mentally would operate and all those kind of things. It was we could do an entire episode on it. It was just so fascinating, eye-opening. And then I left and basically I never took any IP, and I thoroughly respect the business owner and stuff like that. But essentially I went and opened my own sort of websites that I sold stuff through as opposed to like really pushing SEO as a service. Dude, it was a great eye-opener. So
and there's so many I'm not going to say intangibles, but it's not just like how to do SEO you would learn in that environment. You mentioned a great one there. It's like the people, what motivates staff, how they work together. It's who goes into meetings.
Yep.
Dude, all these things you get to see and experience. Because I know this now. Even if I look back on my plumbing career, I worked in a variety of plumbing businesses. If I was going to start a plumbing business today, I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's
the orgs. You know the orgs. And that was the thing. Like I learned the org structure, what didn't work in the org structure. I saw the split out. And at the time, everybody was physical in one office. And so I could see how it worked. So then I could this is what a water cooler is and all these kind of things. And then I just apply that to the virtual world, which is like all my team worked virtually anyway. This is way before the vid. But yeah, I argue that it was one of the painstaking years that I had, but I learned a lot.
And to draw a full circle on this, why I'm so strong on this point, I probably lost the first couple of years in business just trialing and erring and losing money and having to do refunds and a whole bunch of stuff because I got in over my head. It was only when I joined a mastermind later and got to model other people's agencies, which shout out to Kim Barrett. I know you listen to this show, where I got to compare my agency to Kim's and a few other people that were in that group, where it's like that's where I kind of got that learning because everything else was just working it out. So I could have that would have been the one.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.